Well, good morning, everybody. Here we are on a Thursday morning. I missed our Wednesday's thought of the day. It was a really busy day. If you take a look around at the store right now, you'll see that we are still in the midst of doing some renovations. So it's a bit of a mess here at the moment, but it's been a busy day. I'm thankful for my friend Pastor Roy, who's been giving so much of his time to help us move some of the things around, and it's a lot of work. But anyway, the thought of the day has to do with Matthew 6 today. And unfortunately, quite often, we'll find ourselves in a situation where we feel out of touch with God. We know spiritually we're weak, and we wonder how we get to that point. But there are some basic things that we have to maintain as Christians in this our walk with Jesus Christ. It's not a one-off. God didn't save us and then send us out on our own. He saved us for a relationship, and that relationship requires certain things. A relationship with a wife, requires certain things. With a spouse, let's say, you have to spend time. There's intimacy. There's the sharing of ideas. There's talking. There's being together. And with God, it's no different. It's a requirement of being together. Now, He's with us, but our mind isn't always on Him. And we find in Matthew 6, there's some basic things that Jesus deals with. And one is prayer, that we have to be praying, that we have to be in conversation with our God, that we have to present everything to Him all the time, and that keeps us fresh and alive. The other is being in the Word, constantly studying, learning, growing. If we're not in the Word, then we're in a lot of trouble. And the other is faith. At the end of the chapter, we read, "Do not worry. Don't be anxious about anything." Why are you worried about your clothing, your food? Don't you know that your Father knows that you need such things? These are the elements that we have to practice every day. We can't get to the point of saying, "Well, I don't know how I'm going to pay my bills." As soon as you say that, you're confessing a non-faith. You can go before God and say, "God, I don't know how you're going to do this. This is a situation I'm in, and I'm trusting you." And He honors you for that. The world doesn't understand that. In fact, the world scoffs at our faith. They say, "Faith, yeah, prove your faith." You can't prove faith. Faith is trust. Faith is trust. It's like trusting your parents, trusting your spouse. Either you trust or you don't. Either you have faith or you don't. Either you believe or you don't. There's no in-between, and that's what Jesus was saying. There's no in-between. We can't have a relationship that produces an in-between result where we're constantly worrying, full of fear and anxiety. It's either we trust Jesus Christ or we don't. If we don't trust Him, then we don't have His peace. If we don't have His peace, there's a lot of problems. But be honest with yourself. If you're in a place where you're not trusting, is it because you haven't been spending that time in prayer? You haven't been spending the time in study. You haven't been spending that time in worship. You haven't been spending time with God. And I don't mean once a week. Once a week isn't going to cut it. This is a relationship that has to be every day. Not every day, but every moment of every day. You have to be constantly aware of Jesus Christ. You have to be constantly aware of His presence and His guidance and His strength and His peace constantly. Your life has to revolve around Him. If your life does not revolve around Jesus Christ, then you don't have the relationship that is required, that is needed for you to be in a place of faith and of trust. Yeah, even pastors. Pastoring can become a job. You study the Word because you have to. You study it for Sunday. You have your prayer list that you maintain for your people. But when it comes to an actual relationship, not approaching it like a job, studying the Word, devouring the Word for yourself, praying the things that the Spirit puts on you, then you can dry up. You have to allow that constant flow through us. It's a bit of a word of the day, but I just wanted to get this across because this is a basic, and if we're not doing this, then we can't do anything else. So consider that, look at that, read Matthew 6, see if you can glean anything else out of there. I pray that you will have a very trusting day, a day of intimacy, a day of growing close to our Lord Jesus Christ. God bless.